Hey, welcome everybody to SMA Live. Of course, in the afternoon, we have today with us awesome Gerald Dawson, my instructor. Thank you, sir, for taking a couple minutes. I know you're between workouts and some other stuff like that for joining us today.
Absolutely, man. Thank you for having me.
Now, there's been, if we were to actually talk about your entire sports karate career, we would be here till like 10, 12 o'clock. So we're going to fast forward it up to Team Dojo Elite. Now you're the coach of this brand new team. First of all, how does it feel you just coach now. You don't have to worry about being to the ring to go fight this dude, that dude, but taking on this new responsibility of coach, what's the biggest change for you?
Well, the misconception is that, I'm still competing. I just haven't had a whole lot of desire to compete in the division. Although my teammates and my son, they always encourage me to fight or whatever. But right now I find a lot of joy in doing the team fights, the senior teams, and sometime this year you probably will see our senior team still fighting with the younger teams and stuff like that because, believe it or not, I still can do it. People, kind of give up or tell you, after a certain age you shouldn't do it anymore or whatever. But, I just look at myself as a 50-year-old athlete, you know what I mean? Because I still train. I still get up in the morning every day. I go to the gym. I work out, the whole 9 yards. So my mobility, my, agility and all those things are, still there. Of course, I'm not as fast as I may have been, years ago. But I've learned how to tweak the game a little bit to make it, work in my favor. I'm a little bit more trickier than what I was at one point. But being a part of this team, man, has been, in the short amount of time, has been really freaking awesome. Um, excuse me. Um, Josh Horowitz is probably one of the best people I have met in my entire life. I mean, I've had, conversations with him over the years, and we've always vibed, and for no apparent reason, whenever he would fight and I had the opportunity to, to coach him and, talk to him before his matches, after his matches, we was always cool. When he was doing the WKF thing, when he was doing the CJB thing, I was just, really just kind of been in this corner, not for no real reason. Like, I ain't never trained with him. He ain't never come up here. We never talked outside of karate tournaments or anything like that. But when this opportunity came around or whatever, it was real easy because him and I had already had a really decent, um, I want to say vibe, or,
Mm-hmm.
we really kind of, got along with each other really well. And, but it being on the team now, I realized that, this guy is probably one of the best dudes that, anybody could ever meet. And I'm not just saying that because he's the owner, of the team and, that kind of stuff. Him and a few other guys from the organization, they all, are owners of the team and stuff like that. But he is just ultimately a great freaking guy. Like, I'm at the point now that if he would have did this and asked me to do it, I probably would have did it anyway. I mean, the way that it came about and everything like that was, unique, but, I would have did it anyway.
Yeah, I got you. And Josh is, from sharing time with him on CJB, he is generally one of the nicest guys in the world. He's a absolutely tricky fight. I love watching him fight. Just he would get in there, and Josh is like a genius kid with a Rubik's Cube. No matter who you put in front of him, he's looking, he's like, all right, I'm going to figure this out. I got 2 minutes to figure this out. And he's able to go in there and fight with lighter, heavier, taller, shorter, younger, faster, quicker, left leg, right leg, whatever. He goes in there and solves the puzzle. Now, with you being the captain of the ship right now, we just had Devin Hopper just check in. I just saw this young man a couple weeks ago on fire at another tournament, and he's doing his thing. Devin and I were talking, I think it was last year in Vegas, and him and Zach, we were out there hanging for a minute, and both these guys are coming up, but Devin has kind of taken his fight game to the next level, and I got to give him props on that.
Yeah, that's because I've been cussing them out, man. Like, get in there. Nah. You know, it's easy. You know, one of the things that, you know, in the past that, you know, I always hear about people talk about being a great coach.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it's hard for me to, in my personal opinion, to say how great a coach is if you just got great guys on your team.
Right.
You got three, you know, top-notch dudes, and they going out there, you know, they're going to win regardless if you're standing behind them or not. So the bottom line is, am I really just being a great coach, or are these guys just that freaking awesome? You know what I mean? But with Devin and, you know, Zach and Cam, and, you know, we got a few other people that's on the team. These guys, man, are really just really passionate about the sport. And by them being so young, it kind of gives you hope for the future of the game because they're just so passionate. You know what I mean? Like, you know, they freaking hate to lose.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're calling me on a regular basis and, you know, hey, what I need to do? Do I need to work on this? Do I need to work on that or whatever? And I'm very, you know, flattered that, you know, they even feel as though that I can help them because mentally I haven't really, you know, really adopted the whole coach thing. You know what I mean? Because most of the times is dudes who coach, you know, they're retired from the game, and you know they're only talking about the stuff that they used to do back in the day, and you know that kind of stuff like that. I'm just in a position where as though like I'm really actually able to enjoy this with them. Like, you know, I'm still in the trenches with them. You know, every morning I'll send out a text or something to the team and, you know, let them know, hey, listen, I just finished at the gym. I did this today. I did that today, whatever. Everybody let me know what they're doing. And I understand that that gives them more to eat off of. You know what I mean? It gives them more to strive for because they know that somebody is in the trenches. It's not somebody just saying, oh, you know, make sure you're working out, make sure you're stretching extra. You know, I really need you to step up at the next game. And, you know, all that other kind of stuff. These guys know that they need to step up. They know when they made mistakes and things of that nature. My son Cameron is an he's just an old school kid in a new school body. You know, he's like a millennial in an old school mentality, and that's just mainly because of how I trained him. Like, I did things totally different with Cameron than I did with Gerald. I did things totally different, Cameron, than what I did with myself. So it's just a situation where as though that he was able to grow, and he still has a lot of room to grow. He has all the physical attributes, and now we just, you know, constantly working on the mental aspects of it. But, you know, last at Amerikick, Devin, you know, really showed us what he was made of. You know, more than anything, he was just showing that, hey, he was hungry. He was letting them light heavyweights know, hey, listen, when I step in this ring, you know, I am a force to be, you know, reckoned with.
Oh, 1 second. Got a little bit of a
Sorry,
freeze.
somebody calling.
Okay, that's what it was.
Yeah.
No worries. No worries. Go ahead.
Yeah, so, you know, we definitely got a good team. We got a lot of people that are very passionate about, you know, what they doing. But, you know, sometimes I just feel as though that, being passionate is just not enough sometimes. You know what I mean? Just
Right.
sitting on the side saying, man, how bad I want this, how bad I want that. That's just lip service. You know what I mean? It's not real. You're just talking a good game. Like people who smoke cigarettes find gratification out of just saying, I want to quit. So
Mm-hmm.
because they say quit, that's all the gratification that they need, and then the next day they start smoking again. It's
Got
the
right
same
back
way
at it
with
again.
telling
Exactly.
somebody. It's the same thing with somebody saying, "Man, I'm passionate about this game. I really want to make this game." But then the next day you ask them, "Hey, did you work out today?" "Oh no, I'm gonna do it later, or I will do it next time," or that kind of stuff like that. Any time during the week, during the day, I can call any of those people on my team and say, "Hey, you worked out today?" "Yes, I did such and such. I did this. I did that." Or whatever. That lets you know that they're serious about it and that they're students of the game.
Now, one of the things I definitely can agree with you on that because I can remember You telling me, hey, it's Thanksgiving, but we're working out before, before you go eat that turkey, you got to come
Right.
here and get this work. And I remember coming up in the game, I'm like, really? We doing this before Thanksgiving? And we come in there and we work hard 12 rounds, and
Exactly.
that turkey was eaten good
Right. Yes, it
because we
was.
had a good workout that day.
And on top of that, it tastes so much better.
Oh, that's true. You have no food guilt at that point. You're
Right. You
thinking, you
have
know
no
what?
food guilt. Yeah,
I
exactly.
can I can have this extra whatever because all
Yeah.
those rounds in the bag or those that those extra 5 rounds or weights on
Yeah.
everything we did.
And then you got to remember back then what we had something like 23, 24 people in the mat at that time.
Yes,
Crazy, man.
absolutely nuts. Let me ask you this: if I had the ability to give you a wish to change anything in sports karate, and this is going to kind of be a recurring. It's the first time I've asked this question. But if you could change one thing, boom, like that, and I said, go ahead and name it. What would you change either about karate or sport martial arts or even your career? If you had that power, what would it be? Go.
Prize money.
Prize money?
You gotta it's gotta become more worthwhile for what we're doing. Cause like when you think about a UFC fighter or a
Mm-hmm.
boxer, what more are they doing than us? You know what I mean? What more as far as their training regimen? And now I granted they take a hell of a beating and stuff like that or what have you, but over the years we've seen some hellacious, knockouts and guys really getting hurt in our game and stuff like that. And right now, the reason why we don't have as many old school people bringing their students to try to do this thing is just it's no money for us. You know what I
Right.
mean? And we're all insane. We're all crazy because we keep doing it. And it's never gonna make any difference with the promoters and stuff like that or whatever because what was said they was like, well, when these champions quit, then we always get new champions, and there's always somebody that's willing to backdoor you. Like, yeah, I may not fight for $500, but the next person to fight for $100. You know what I'm saying?
True. That's
And
true.
that's it. And we would never be able to unify and say, hey, listen, as a whole, we're just going to all go on a strike, and nobody's going to do nobody's tournament and whatever. And we've tried it on small scales here and there, but in every instance, in every situation, somebody wanted to do it. And you know what, Mallory? And it's not always about for them who would backdoor you with that thing. It's not always about the money. Like they don't necessarily do it for the money. They want the recognition. Like sometimes the recognition is more important to them than the payday. But I feel as though that if these guys, you know, could make money enough to live off of and support their families and have a freaking retirement plan or something like that or whatever, I think the game would be so much better. So right now what we have is a glorified hobby. It's very expensive to do. Everybody can't do it because they can't travel. There's so many well talented people out here that just can't make it to the tournaments because they just can't afford it.
That's true.
So and then in this day and time, they've taken the hierarchy of being a world champion away because now any 3-year-old, 5-year-old can have like 15 world titles. You know what I mean? Just as seasoned as a Raymond Daniels or Johnny Tension or any top fighter or whatever. Like you got a 9-year-old kid that got just as many world titles as an adult, and you don't see that nowhere else.
That's
Like
correct.
you never see a kid who's really talented as a boxer in the same ring with Mayweather. You know what I'm saying? That kind of stuff like that. So when they take away that edge to what it is to be a champion or whatever, it's not there because anybody and their mother can be a champion. I mean, hell, we got guys that don't even have a black belt that judges black belt fighting. So it's just crazy. So I think back to years ago when Mafia, Hakeem Austin, you would see kids actually walking around like when Hakeem Austin used to wear a bandana around his head, you would see kids walking around, wanting to wear that same kind of bandana. And Mafia had the wings on his uniform. And you see little kids walking around with the wings on their uniforms and stuff like that. And then with all the teams and stuff like that, to be able to afford to go to tournaments and all that other kind of stuff, everybody's wearing the same uniform. So there's no individuality anymore. Like Mafia coming out with the wings, all the kids are like, ooh, I want that uniform. You can't do that anymore. You know what I'm saying? Century comes out with some slick uniforms. Fighter Inc. comes out with slick uniforms, and then if a team likes it, everybody gets it. But you don't see little kids running around saying, hey, I want that same uniform as TDE or Hayabusa or Paul Mitchell or, any of those guys. You don't see people doing that anymore. And I just feel as though that our sport has categorized all of us as the same, So one more thing that comes to my mind. I remember one time getting on the elevator with Mike Smith from Florida, and the kid got on there, and somebody was joking. They're like, "You know who this guy is, or whatever." And the little kid didn't know who he was and stuff like that. But come to find out that the little kid had won. No, I'm sorry. They said this guy is a world champion or whatever, and the little kid turns around and say, "Yeah, I'm a world champion too. I've won 4 world titles and all this other kinds on or whatever." And the kid couldn't have been no more than 10, 11 years old.
Right. Well, some people say de-evolution has happened more than evolution with the sport.
Right.
Let me tap your knowledge. Give me a one-word answer, because again, I've mentioned you've been around here since the days of Metro, since the beginning of JPM, the beginning of Team Elite, et cetera, et cetera. I'm going to name a specific type of fighter, and it's going to put you on the spot a little bit, but you got to give me one name answer for this. Will be maybe the composite for the best fighter. So let me see. Let's start off with best hands.
Best hands.
Yeah. Put you on the spot.
Well, you got to give me a second because I gotta
I know this catalog.
I gotta figure out what you mean by that. I would say Kevin Thompson.
All right, Kevin Thompson. Now, best legs.
Mafia Holloway. Best
counter kicker.
Counter kicker.
Yeah, somebody's got great defense. You're afraid to kick with them because they're going to back whip your head off or something.
That is a hard one because you don't have that many good counter kickers and of today or whatever.
All right, we can set that to the side. Best footwork.
Tony Young.
Best ring intelligence or ring generalship.
Raymond Daniels.
Raymond Daniels. So let's see. We got KA for hands. We got Mafia for legs. We got Raymond for ring generalship.
You know what? I would have to say Mafia would be the best counter kicker. If I could switch them, I would give Pedro the best offensive kicker, and I would give Mafia like being basically, because Mafia had good counters, good counting.
All right, I'll give you that. And if you guys are not familiar with any of those names besides Raymond Daniels, you need to do a little homework. And if you combine all of that, you're dealing with a formidable fighter.
Now, I'm sorry. If you want me to be more specific of today's fighters, we can do that as well.
All right. Same. So we'll go do it. Today's fighter. Best hands. Today's fighters.
Cameron Dawson.
Cameron Dawson. Best legs.
Best legs of today. Give me a second. Oh, you know what? I take that back. Not Cameron. Jack Felton.
Jack Felton. Okay.
Yeah.
For best hands. Best legs.
Best legs of today would have to be Zalt Marati.
Okay. Best footwork.
Best footwork of today. Give me a second.
This is a tricky game, man.
Best footwork. Best footwork of today. Oh. Give me a second.
Everybody should be scratching their head on this. Like who's going to the slot? We can table that and go to counter fighters if you need to.
No.
See, this is the coaching challenge right now too. You get it.
Right. See, because here's my thing.
Mm-hmm.
There are people that move around the ring really good, but then they're just running.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Oh, you know what? So, Linda chimes in.
I'm a very particular person. Like when you say somebody who got great footwork,
Mm-hmm.
I don't, having great footwork to me is not somebody who can just, duck people's kicks and punches. I mean, a good footwork is somebody who moves, put themselves in a good position to fight. There's a lot of guys that can escape technique.
Right.
They can move away and stuff like that. But I don't see hardly anybody ever really having great footwork and always putting themselves in a good position to strike back or to fire back. So I'm going to say zero. There is none.
Coming in for the comments, Linda chimes in with Robbie, and we were between topics. So I'm not sure if she was going with Robbie for
as far as footwork is concerned.
Right. It wasn't specific, so I know she's hearing us talk right now. Maybe she can clarify, but she did throw Robbie's name out there.
Well, as far as footwork is concerned, he does have good footwork, but the thing is he always in good position to fire back?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Now,
that's where you categorize that. I got you.
As far as countering is concerned, his D side, his fade hook, that little spin thing that he do up and down, all that stuff is great as far as being a good counter. So yeah, I would definitely say that he would be definitely one of the top dudes as far as being counters. And then being that small, he would have to.
She mentions for footwork, Robbie for footwork, and that's exactly what you just covered. Now let me give you one other question as we start to wrap this up to a close. If you had to pick your greatest foe, I remember this was asked to you years ago. I want to see if it's changed from your career. Not necessarily the person that gave you the most trouble, but maybe it's the person that you lost to and you went back with that motivation. I don't know if you got a picture, you put them up on the wall and said, I got to beat this dude next time. Who, maybe someone, that you just edged out. Who would be your greatest foe for your entire sports karate career, for you personally?
Anthony Price.
Anthony Price.
Anthony Price is the only person in my sport karate career who hurt me, like literally hurt me. Like I've taken some good shots and stuff like that, but Anthony Price hurt me whereas though I was I was still dealing with it days later. You know what I'm saying? I've been hit, like Jerry Fontanez has hit me late. Nasty Anderson used to give me good body shots. They were hurt like, right then and there. But as far as like somebody who hurt me, Anthony Price, I mean, this is probably the first time because I ain't never tell him that.
World exclusive. Here we go.
If he's seeing it, then he'll know that in my sport karate career, the only person that I legitimately feared in my younger days was Anthony Price.
That is the first. Now, was that the same time you guys were both on Metro together, or was it a different time?
No, it's when we was on, because at all the years that he was fighting as a heavyweight, because before he was fighting as a light heavyweight. So when he became a heavyweight, that's when those situations came about or whatever. Now I've had several rivals out of the years, like Hakeem was like a rival for me. KA was a rival for me. Nasty was a rival for me. And then like coming up, being the young gun at that time, Terry Kramer and Richard Plowden was always that thorn in that in the ass and stuff like that. But I didn't fight them as much as I fought like Nasty, because Nasty would come to my area and I would have to fight him at a local tournament or or something like that. Like I actually can count on my one hand how many fights I've had with Terry Kramer. I can count on one hand how many times I had a fight with Richard Plowden.
Right. I got to say that I remember that time that Nasty did show up locally here, and I got a chance to fight Nasty. That was probably the most thrilling. And look back, I was like, oh man, that was great. Let me ask you this as we go ahead and draw to a close. Where is the next place we're gonna see Team Dojo Elite next?
Grand Slam Open. It is a team event for us. We got a few people coming out there. TDE is just Team Dojo Elite is a young team. Like all our youngest guys are like not even over 25 years old. Like Cameron just turned 21. I think Devin is like 22, 23, something like that. He's just really young. All the people on the team are just really young. So you got me, Mike Simmons, Josh, and Tomas. Like, we're the old heads on the teams. But those guys still put in work. And I think you just got to respect that. You know, our game really just don't give any senior fighters love. Some tournaments you know, they'll put us over in a corner. We never make it. You know, if we're not on the main stage. And then some of the best fights, man, some of the best fights is in the old dudes, you know, rings and stuff like that. And then don't get me wrong, some of them are sloppy, but shoot, some of them are sloppy in the 18 to 29 as well.
That's true.
But it's a lot of good fighting out there, man. You got your Keith McKinleys, you got your Kenny Everett's. You know, it's a lot of dudes, man, that's really still putting in that work, man. And but they're not getting that just due or whatever. So, you know, it is what it is. Like I said, I'm an over 50-year-old athlete. There is nothing that any young person is doing that I don't do. You know, as far as, you know, training, I swim, I lift, I drill, I spar, you know, I do it all or what have you. And, you know, but not getting that recognition for doing all of that just kind of makes me play the back role. This is not a shameless plug or anything, but the greatest feeling that I had in 2017 was fighting for WKC, the World Championships. I didn't even win, but man, the experience of it, and you know, just the I was in the best shape of my life training, getting ready for the WKC. And I think I was just in so much awe of how much fun that I had, you know, doing it or what have you. It just made the difference. And I don't know what it was, because I've represented this country several times. I've been to Germany, Austria, Italy. I mean, I've been all over this world, you know, doing this sport karate thing. And, you know, but last year in Florida, I had the best sport karate experience I had in my life for a long time. So just doing that WKC thing was just, you know, or what have you. Like, I'm the reasons that I stay so active this year, as far as, you know, fighting as much as I'm fighting, is just so that I can get ready and get back into the WKC next year, and then spend this time with my team. You know, going and competing at these tournaments, because like I said, these young group of people that we're dealing with right now with Dojo Elite has really given me newfound life, I guess you could say. I guess this would be like my third or fourth time with newfound life.
Hey,
because
extra lives are good.
But the whole thing about being, you know, staying active in this game is that you have to learn how to recreate yourself every time that you do it.
I think that is an excellent statement to close out on. Let's get a plug in for your school. Where you at? Because I know you're heading there to teach.
Man, I am located in Howard County, Maryland, which is Elkridge, Maryland. And the name of my school is Awesome Martial Arts. Awesome Martial Arts, Elkridge.com. There
you go. That is the place. But if you come, be prepared to work.
We still teach real martial arts. We still teach real martial arts.
Well, I certainly appreciate you giving us a few minutes of your time. Awesome, Gerald Dawson, coach of Team Dojo Elite. You will see them next week, this time at the Grand Slam Nationals. You guys have a good evening, and we will catch you later on.